Hello everybody, and welcome to this brief video where I'm going to talk about the benefits of finding a quiet place to meditate. On this channel so far we've talked about integrating meditation into our daily life. It's an essential component of all the training here. For most people, they live in a busy location, a busy life with many distractions, and mindful meditation with a skillful approach can be introduced in such practices. For example, we've got 1 minute mindfulness, which is just an essential way of remembering some wisdom that we can integrate into our daily life. And just for 1 minute a day, you have to start somewhere. In the beginning, make it light. That's what I always say, make it easy for yourself. But as time goes on, it's helpful to try and increase the length of time we practice. And then from time to time find a quiet location. This is why in Mindspace we have retreats. We're in retreats. Generally, if you look at these retreats, they're done in quiet locations. Why? Because there's less distraction. We can find very quiet locations. In the past, practitioners meditated in caves, and this is where I currently am, in a cave to record this video. And you can see. Historically, great practitioners like Milarepa, for example, they meditate in caves. Why? Why would you meditate in a cave? One reason, it's quiet. Second reason, it's well insulated. Third reason, in hot climates, they're very cool. And they're also very private. So they can help to constantly, it's an environment that can encourage concentration and focus. You know, it's said, many people sort of say now, you don't need to go into a cave to meditate. It comes up again and again. It's one of these lines delivered in the sort of modern self-help mindfulness meditation movement. You don't need to go to a cave to meditate. No, you don't. It's a very good point. But that doesn't mean that you don't need to, or you can't, or you shouldn't. You shouldn't seek out quiet locations, especially where practitioners of the past have trained. And there's a special kind of energy in these places which can enhance and strengthen your concentration. So it's like you go on retreat. When you go on retreat, whether it's for half a day, a weekend, 5 days, a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, however long, you're stepping back from the busyness to consolidate and strengthen your own practice. So the practice that you've built up in your daily life, you go on retreat to gather all that essential training together and increase its power. And generally, when you go on to retreat, you go on to retreat with the mind of compassion. So you're actually in that quiet location for the benefit of others. What does this mean? It means that you're training your mind to become concentrated. You're training your mind to become focused, not just for yourself so you can be peaceful. Of course, that is an effect. That's a very beneficial effect for oneself. But ultimately, so when you come out of that retreat, the people that you interact with, your friends, your family, the society that you live in, will benefit. So in the forefront of one's mind on retreat, in a quiet location, we have that intention, the intention of compassion and the open, mindful heart. Then we can utilize the power of being in that retreat. Also, if you're in a quiet location, whether it's a cave, by a lake, by a river, in a wood, in a forest, maybe in a location where there's various wildlife, which there can be in hotter climates, sort of insects and lizards of various sizes, snakes, bats, even lions and tigers in some locations. Then with a mind of compassion in those quiet locations, we can keep a peaceful mind, understanding that fear is a state, it's a state of mind, and it generally comes because we're focused on oneself. If we have compassion, we focus on others. Compassion is a very powerful way to reduce fear of wildlife. Doesn't mean to say we don't take precaution, of course, but we can rest peacefully with that mind. So I encourage you, wherever you are, from time to time, seek out a quiet location, whether it's just in the spare room, or in your garden, or in a park. Maybe go on a trip for a weekend to somewhere quiet, and specifically emphasize the practice of concentration and meditation. When you do retreat, and you want to train in concentration, ultimately, it's essential to find a quiet location. This is why in the past, practitioners went into caves. So this is sort of like looking at meditation practice from a different angle. It's not contradictory to modern day meditation. It's not saying that you need to come to places like this to meditate, but in a sense it's encouraging to start thinking about potentially doing some form of retreat, maybe even one day going into a cave for however long, or just going somewhere by nature, just being in nature, being somewhere natural, has a very peaceful, powerful effect on the mind. We can leave all our troubles behind and emphasize the practice of inner peace. Not to be afraid of quiet, not to be afraid of peace and silence. In fact, to seek it out and to use it for our own benefit and for the benefit of others. Let's just take a look, shall we, before we finish. As you can see here, if you decide to meditate in this cave, you'll be sharing it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 bats, and also some Buddhists. Okay, so that's all for now. Thanks for listening and enjoy your practices.